Welcome back to the channel and a new video on the Audi Q5 S-Line. Just before we move on today, I want to remind everybody that is watching, subscribing to the Salvage Rebuilds channel is absolutely free of charge and it really does help us out. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell and enjoy the rest of the video. In the last video on this car, we actually, myself and Chris, swapped out that engine and got this car running. It fired up on the first flick of the key. No way!
Wow.
Did you turn that off?
No.
Which absolutely shocked the pair of us as well. In the last video, we got quite a lot of parts. In fact, if you missed that, Chris will put the other part, the previous video, up here somewhere. It will be on your left or your right. We managed to get this engine in there, get it running and get it to this stage. We don't want to take it off the ramp, put it outside, bring something else in, all that carry on. We are just going to, what do you say, crack straight on with this one?
Let's get on with it, mate.
Get on with it and try and get it driving. Enjoy the video. Pretty excited about this one, but that little chat that me and Chris was just having there actually went on for about 5 minutes. So it shows you how fast the time lapse is. Straight on with that rad pack and front crossbar there. Got that bolted in, got it lined up. Started clipping all the pipes on, putting all the aircon pipes on, and then in with both of those headlights. We just did one at each, like I did one side, Chris did the other side. Nice and easy, made sense. Connect up the bonnet cables. I'm going to say it, that went back together very nicely. I mean, this was only lightly hit in the front and then it was all low down, was it? Well, I'm saying it was lightly hit, it put a big hole in the bottom of the engine, but it did just go back together very nice. Like this, I didn't even notice before. There's a small piece missing, so we're going to need to order a new foam for that. That is your pedestrian protection, and if you squeeze that pipe with the ignition on, your bonnet will actually fire up backwards. And that is to obviously prevent a pedestrian from hitting your windscreen. Chris was pointing them out there.
Little actuators there, pop up, don't they?
Yeah, so we thought we'd show that first of all, but the front panel went on there so nice, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really nice. Both headlights back in, all plugged in, AC all bolted up. Now we've got these 2 water pipes here for that additional cooler, and I've just chased TPS, and I didn't realise when I ordered that I missed the cut off yesterday.
It's a shame, but
it's going to arrive.
We have got other stuff to get on with.
A lot of stuff.
That damaged exhaust to change, haven't we, and other bits and bobs. So
what should we do, mate?
Well, we put the bonnet,
pull that down gently,
and we'll go up in the air, shall we? And
oh, it's starting to look well again now.
We'll get the underside done, shall we?
And just continue on with it.
I think so, Rob. Yeah, I think so, mate.
We did, underneath there was, I'm going to find it actually. I do want to find that, and there it is. That was nice and easy to find. Now, in the first video, we pointed this out. Chris, would you mind holding this camera? So this was attached to the very front of the engine onto the DPF, wasn't it?
That's right.
And then this routed right round, because I had to swap this over yesterday. Let's get it around the right way. So basically, it went like that, and that routed underneath the car. I'm not actually sure where that went to, but there was a wire on there and a plug on the end of that was actually broke. And we got really lucky because that engine come with that, didn't it? And we managed to take the broken plug off and they pushed together. So anyway, enough waffle, let's continue on doing all the little jobs on it.
Well, mate.
Don't forget, guys, when purchasing a vehicle for yourself, for a family member, for a friend, always use Car Vertical when you're buying the vehicle. It checks for odometer fraud, financial and legal status of the vehicle, and of course any damage that has been recorded on the vehicle as well. So on this particular Audi Q5, it is completely unrecorded. There was no insurance claim made, but look at this identical car here. This is actually another Audi Q5, and you can see there, odometer looks good. Financial and legal needs attention, and damaged also needs attention now. And it does clearly highlight it there in amber that there is an issue on this check. And when you run your vehicle for a check, that is exactly what you are looking for. Also, there is the handy timeline on this check as well, and it has your registration date, all of your MOTs, ownership changes, everything will be down on the timeline there. You can also find out your market values, your emission status of the vehicle, financial, legal, specs and equipment. It is all available on this just one check. You've also got on there your odometer, so that will go through all of the mileage records and mileage history of this vehicle. If you want to run a check on your car and you would like a nice little discount, use the code up on screen now or hit the link in the description where it will automatically apply your discount. And up in the air and making a start on the exhaust pipe there, that's all bent. Also we've got that tank strap, that's all bent, so I think we were going to remove the exhaust, remove that tank strap. Chris is going to straighten that up, and I'm going to have a look at the damage on this wheel. This side is actually leaning in and I'm not sure what's bent on it, so we're both having a good look there. So getting a lot done now, and Chris is just doing that heat shield underneath. He's just straightened out that tank strap, luckily, because the one at Reclamet was toast. And if you have a look at this passenger side wheel now, I think we have pretty much nailed it. So what I'm using as a point to check it is actually, if I go like that, put a clean mark in that, actually standing here where I'm standing, it is bang on that mark, and I've checked it the other side, and I did only change 2 of those arms, and it was that rear one, and clearly you can see why I changed that. Now we was going to go with the whole lot, but I could see that that one was bent, and that one there as well has actually rolled up on one of the edges, so I only changed those 2 bars. And you've got so much adjustment in this. It is unbelievable how much it brings that wheel in and out. Anyway, I'm going to let Chris continue on with doing that heat shield, but I did just want to show you that exhaust, how badly damaged it is. Obviously this had gone across a curb. Chris seems to think, well, curb, possibly a roundabout, but look how bad that is. That's all caved in there, and then there it's quite bad as well. And I'm sure somewhere there's actually a split in this, I noticed. Definitely not. Oh yeah, there you can see it there. So it's actually got a little hole in it there. Anyway, we'll let Chris fix that heat shield, get that all put into place, and then we'll move on to fitting that new exhaust pipe. So, over with the new exhaust. And we're going to start lining that up and actually getting there. There's a clamp that's got to come off of it, so we remove that. Obviously we're going to use the one that's on our car, and then we both lift that up in the air, get that on its rubbers. I dropped it here onto my thumb and opened up a little cut that I had on there. It was pretty painful, but yeah, in both of the rubbers you've got one little bolt to do up there just that holds it to the centre section, and that's pretty much the exhaust done. I've replaced both of those arms on that rear wheel, and that seems to have straightened that up as well. So that is the new exhaust all on there, all fitted, and all went really well. All back on its rubbers. Chris straightened out that tank strap, straightened out all of that heat shield, so all of that is back to normal. This pad, of course, the other side is knackered, so we're going to need to order one of them. But we've had our TPS delivery, and that is the additional cooler that we was missing. And you're right, it looks just like an intercooler.
And it's exactly the same size as the intercoolers are, isn't it?
So it's going to clip on exactly the same.
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
We also got the foam backing. I said that that was broke, and previously the pedestrian protection tube actually goes through and clips in here, but no doubt we'll chuck that on in a minute.
Shall I just clip this on there?
Yeah, chuck it on, mate, if you can.
It should fit, shouldn't it? Straight in there, shouldn't it?
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's got like little feet there for it.
Yeah, it just hooks in and...
What, that simple?
It's fitted.
No screws, no nothing?
No screws, no nothing, just 2 pipes. So those 2 go around there, don't they? Job's a good one.
On our original engine, Chris did notice that obviously these ends were still snapped off in the tubes.
Oh, it's gone there, wasn't it? It's gone, yeah, that's right.
I've dropped that back, so you can see that goes there. Mate, I'm just going to run off and grab a coffee and some antifreeze.
Yes, we need to,
because we're ready to get this on. Yeah. This has got to be vacuum filled, and we've got our new vacuum filler.
Yep.
We'll show a bit more of that, because last time someone said, how does that quite work? So, of course, I'll get you to explain. Right, let's do it.
Yep.
Down he goes with the ramp. Now that's on there. and he can start pressure testing to see that that's all sealed up before we obviously go to the vacuum fill on the cooling system. And quite quickly Chris puts the pressure gauge on there and then actually shows it's actually leaking water on the floor, and he's now going to try and work out where that's coming from. I actually made a bit of an error there. When we was taking this car apart, you'll see Chris completely finished all that. When we was actually taking this car apart, Chris was helping Dan, and I said, I'm going to strip this engine out, so I'm going to unplumb it basically. Yeah. And that's what I did. And when it comes to this particular piece here, that's actually, and I didn't know until I made the mistake, there's actually a little tiny thermostat in there, and I've got one right here which actually come out of the old one. So there it is there, there's a little thermostat and a spring. And I actually took, instead of disconnecting that pipe or that pipe there, what I actually did was I pulled that clip out.
Which it looks like
it does look
because
like that.
That's a standard fitment on all of these coolant hoses, isn't it, to pull the clip.
But unfortunately, it is also right down the back there, and it's, you can probably just about see those two pipes. You can see where Chris has had to pull it off. It's it's typical.
We're guessing, but we think it's a thermostat for the cooler on the gear oil, don't we? Because there's a little gearbox oil cooler back there. Never seen that before. No. I'm sure someone will correct us, but
it's spring-loaded regardless. I've tried pushing that back together when the engine was out, and we've just established, well, Chris did, as soon as he put that on there.
I don't know, it might show up on the time-lapse that when I took the cap off, it started leaking a little bit of water, just a little drip. So I put this pressure tester on it, which is part of the vac kit, and couldn't get any...
No, just all poured out.
And it's, well, you show it if you like, Rob. There's a big puddle under there now.
Yeah, puddle of water.
And we've not put any coolant in, it's just that's pressurised, or tried to pressurise the system and blown it out.
And you can see what I've done there to the O-ring. I've actually squashed it there, and now when Chris took it apart, it was actually in
half inside, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
it wasn't seated quite right.
Luckily, Chris had the right size O-ring.
Yeah, there's a selection box.
Selection box. So we're now gonna. I've blown in that and capped the other end off.
We think we've resealed it, don't we? So
let's get that on there, and then we'll start the process of obviously putting in the most expensive antifreeze in the world. Chris is just going in there. He's going to remove that part, and then we're going to have a look at it, see what the issue is, get it back on, and then get it to hold pressure. And then we're ready to get on with that vacuum fill. So just a little extra here, we're going to show this live, but we thought we'd put this bit in here. We recorded it, so you know, we might as well put it in there so that you guys can get it from a different angle, I suppose. I tried explaining a little bit of what was going on there in the time lapse, but for a bit more of an in-depth, Chris, I'm going to get you to explain how this actually works and the vacuum side of it.
I think we covered. I had the pressure tester on there, didn't we? So I pumped a bit of pressure in there, and that highlighted that leak.
Right.
So we've rectified that, we've re-pressure tested it, and on that bit of time lapse, I'll put that there, you can see it's holding pressure.
Yeah.
So now we've gone to the vacuum side of it.
I'm going to switch round to that, yep.
Yep. So ignore this pipe at the moment, we'll shut that off, that's for when we come to refilling.
Yep.
So at the moment, we're going to draw all the air out and create a vacuum. And we do that with using compressed air. It blows through here, which draws the air out of the system. Yep. I believe it's called a venturi.
Okay.
But I'm not, I think that's what it's called. So for this process, we need this valve open. Compressors on there fully pumped up. So if this goes wrong, Rob, we refilm it.
No.
And there we go. Now, we know this system's empty because I pumped it up with pressure.
Yeah.
And the last bit of water that was in it blew out of the leak, didn't it? So, but you can put that in and collect it if you're doing a refill. You know, doing a draining refill. Yeah. But you see that's going up now.
For some reason, I can't zoom while I'm in the cradle there.
Right. We're building we're building vacuum now. When that gets up to that, we're going to cool it about there, I think, Rob, yeah? And what you'll be able to do, I'm going to turn that now, lock that off, stop the airflow, and that should, we're going to give that a little while, but that should hold vacuum.
What, just leave it a good 5 minutes?
What you should be able to do is see how that pipe's gone flat?
Yeah, it's almost sucked itself inside out.
Yeah, that's a vacuum.
So there's ultimately no air left in that system. It's all sucked out.
It's escaped the air and created a vacuum, not space.
So what we do then is just let that sit for a little while.
Yeah, we'll see, make sure that holds, but I'm confident it will. And then we're going to submerge that tube into our new coolant.
Yeah.
And then we're going to open that valve up, and that should draw that.
Suck it in.
Yeah, it should draw that in because of the vacuum and fill the system with hopefully no air.
Perfect. Right, this is as far away as we can get with the zoom, and hopefully we're not going to block it, either of us.
No.
But we are pretty much set up.
We have vacked this pipe now, haven't we?
The pipe is vacked, and you can see it has got
the fill pipe.
The fill pipe's got the coolant in it. Hopefully you can see that from there. Chris has made us a jug that we shall use forever now. It is 33%, so 1/3, 3/3 water.
2/3 water, 1/3 coolant. Antifreeze, yeah.
And whilst vacuum filling it like this, we cannot let this bottle go completely empty.
No.
So we'll basically, you'll see as we go.
Yeah, we'll stop and refill.
So you ready?
Well, we'll give it a go, shall we?
Yeah.
Just drawing it in, mate.
Yeah. It's actually
you should see that drop.
Yeah, it's actually a really good idea, isn't it?
Mm.
It's a bit quiet.
Yeah, vacuums. You can see on the gauge the vacuum's dropping. So, and the coolant's
dropping as well.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll shut it off just before it hits that. There's a little filter on the bottom of this pipe. We'll shut it off and then we'll refill exactly the same again, and then go again with it for how much is required. Once the system's full and we start the engine, you can top it up, obviously, without going through this process. You're just drawing all the air out of the system first. Yeah, it's a little bit.
Do we know what the complete system holds, Rob?
In a nutshell, no.
No. Probably handy to know.
Yeah.
But
and if we had another empty bottle, we'd have been really fast, because we could have cut it off and then just swapped over. But
that's true.
Of course, we're just going to use this one bottle. And this is an old coolant bottle. It's slightly different coolant, but we did wash it out first.
Although we don't want this tube to empty, do
no,
we?
definitely
so
not.
Maybe I'll mix it up in another one and decant it straight into that.
Okay, mate.
The vacuum should hold it in, but
it's keeping that header tank permanently at the halfway mark. Can you
is
see
it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Right, I think that'll do, mate.
Right, we'll lock that off.
And
shall we stop that there?
Yeah, otherwise we're just going to be standing here watching it.
It'll just go on.
Yeah. Number 2, you ready?
Here we go again.
Just see an air bubble there.
Tiny little bit of air, isn't it?
Hopefully that don't affect it. I shouldn't think that one air bubble will it?
No. Well, we'll know, won't we, when the bottle's full?
Yeah, I should think 10 litres is probably going to be around that mark, surely.
I mean, if we end up overfilling it, it's not a problem. We can draw some back out, can't we? Better to have too much than not enough, Rob.
That's right. You can take a bit more off, but you can never add a bit back on.
Well, in this case, you can. Not the best analogy.
No.
We are dropping down to...
Once it stops...
So that level in that bottom's starting to creep up now.
Once it's finished, I guess we top it up manually.
Yeah, yeah.
Get ready to shut that off, Chris, so that this don't... Mind you, it's not going to suck
there is no
air.
vacuum. No. That's it, mate. Right, we need to just top that bottle up, and I think we're there. Shall we turn it off?
Yeah, cut it, mate.
All right, mate.
So, after we cut there, and removed all of the equipment, it took an additional ½ litre. But as you can see, it is bang on the maximum there on the header tank. So we've topped that up to where it needs to be. We've started the engine, we've got the coolant, we've got the fans inside on number 1, just running gently. And what we'd like to do, well really, if we run this right up to temperature and let those fans cut in.
Ideally, yes.
We haven't actually got to touch any of this again, have we?
We could do a component test using the Autel, because I think you can fire the fans up the check.
Yeah.
It'd be nicer to let it
do its own thing.
Yeah, and then you know the coolant switch is correct, and everything's plugged back.
That engine sounds sweet as a nut, doesn't it?
Yeah,
sounds really nice. So fingers crossed, mate. We'll have a cup of coffee now and a chat. Yeah. We should be taking this one for its first drive with a bit of luck.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. Right, let's see how we get on. Apart from having no power steering, do you reckon that's ready for a little drive?
Well, that brake don't sound right to me.
No. The discs are rotten. Don't forget, Chris, this went off-road and it has never been driven since.
No.
It could have one of the backing plates rubbing on a disc. You just don't know until we have a look.
You can feel it through the car when you touch the brake.
Can you?
Yeah, how am I looking on that little motor, Rob?
The little sooty? Yeah, plenty of room.
All right.
See out that mirror?
No.
Right, I'll let you get it out, mate, and have a run up and down the yard then. He's got no power steering, has he? Yeah, lovely. Got to be a bit careful here while we're filming, because there's another project here.
Yeah, the old tracking's definitely out.
You can see how far out it is, mate. It's miles away.
Yeah. I think I'll reverse this one back.
Yeah, you're not going to take it for a run.
Oh, it's fighting the steering.
Oh, is it? And you've got no power steering, yeah.
All right.
But it's not a fail, mate. It now starts, runs and drives.
That's right. That's right. So, that's good news, isn't it?
We did just notice as well, I haven't even put that in, just as we're pulling it off the ramp. It's actually got a split AdBlue pipe underneath and it is leaking out its fluid. So I'll let you reverse up. It'll probably show a little puddle on the floor. Started dripping. Yeah. You see it. Right, let's get that one parked up. So that is going to be the end of today's video. As usual, if you did enjoy it, we would really appreciate that thumbs up. It's completely free of charge, really helps us out, keeps the old algorithm ticking over. Don't forget you can follow us on Instagram at Salvage Rebuilds, Chris on his one at Salvage Rebuilds Chris. Like, subscribe, share on all your social networking sites, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.